evening. Welcome to Mezrab, welcome to Playground. My name is Anastasios, I will be your host for tonight. Playground is a night of experimentation. Playground is the night that we bring storytelling with music, with spoken word, with poetry. It looks like this microphone stand is very close to your face. Yeah? It's like one step away from an accident. It's a night that we mix everything. Storytelling, spoken word, comedy, music, everything has a place. It's what you bring in the night. Tonight I'm hosting my friends here, and each of them comes with a nice piece of work that they've prepared for you. But before we go into the night and before I introduce you to my friends, I would like to tell you a couple of things about myself. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I grew up, my name is Anastasios, and I grew up in Athens, in Greece, in a small house in the suburbs of Athens. I lived there with my dad, my mom, my brother. We got 2 dogs, 1 cat, and a few chickens in the garden. My dad was a businessman, my mom was a teacher, but most of the time she stayed at home and she took care of me and my brother. My parents didn't go on big trips. They didn't take long vacations, they didn't go to festivals, they didn't party, they didn't do any of that stuff. My parents, what they did is that they invited their friends at home. That was their adventure, and that was their entertainment. Every weekend they invited their friends at home. And their friends were also normal people. One of them was an accountant, the other one was a dentist, the other one was a teacher and pharmacist. But each of them had an extra skill. So one of them knew how to play the oud, the other one had a nice singing voice and she would sing. The other one had a thing for poetry and he would recite poems. The other one had a great sense of humor, so he would tell us jokes and we would laugh. So my mother's special skill, of course, would be cooking, of course. How did you know? My mother's special skill was cooking. She was cooking all of these Greek delicacies. I'm not going to torture you with the recipes, but good stuff. Yeah, she was running up and down the house with trays filled with mezrab plates. And my father would play the host. That was his thing. He would make room on the table for my mom's plates. He would welcome people. Welcome, welcome. He would sit people around the table. We had this table in the middle, the sofra. You know the sofra? It's like the short round table around which everyone would sit. And then, when everyone was full with good food and with good words from my father, then someone would start singing a song. And then the next person would pick up and would start dancing, and then the next person would tell a story, and then the next person would tell a joke and a poem. And this is how nights went on in my house in the suburbs of Athens. Now, my first memory of this is already at the age of 5. When I would wake up in the middle of the night in this mixture of like smoke and perfume and food, and I would wake up and get out of my bed and I would crawl into the living room, and there I would see all of my parents' friends and my parents there around the sofra, and I would crawl to my mother's legs and I would like fall asleep in her lap while people around me were singing and dancing and eating. Years go by, I pick up music, I become a musician. Soon they invite me in their group to play music with them. Huh? What excitement, you know? I can play with them finally, but you know how these things go. One day you're 14 years old, very excited to play with your parents and your friends. Next day you're like 17, you don't care anymore. You're like, screw you guys, this is not enough. This is not enough for me. So I went out and I found friends and I made a band and I started playing music and I left the house. And I left Athens and I traveled some. And then I left Greece and I studied some, and then I traveled some more and I studied and I traveled. And years went by, and not so long ago I ended up in Amsterdam. And you wouldn't believe where I found myself next. In Mezrab, around the table, sharing stories, sharing food, drinking, laughing, dancing. So welcome to the Mezrab, welcome to Playground. This is Hamudi from Palestine.